In a small village called Adukrom, there lived a man named Kofi Mensah. Kofi was known by everyone as the Wicked Man because he was cruel and selfish. He never helped anyone, and he always took things that didn't belong to him. One day, Kofi saw a poor old woman selling ripe bananas at the market. Instead of paying for them, he grabbed the basket and ran away, laughing as the woman cried. The villagers shook their heads in anger, but no one dared to stop him. That night, as Kofi sat eating the stolen bananas, a strange wind blew through his hut. The oil lamp flickered, and a deep voice spoke from the shadows. "Kofi Mensah, your wickedness has reached the gods. You will now see what it means to be helpless." Before Kofi could shout, his legs stopped moving. He tried to stand, but he couldn't. His arms grew weak, and he dropped the banana. Fear filled his heart as he realized he could no longer move. The next morning, the villagers found Kofi lying on the ground, unable to walk or lift his hands. His eyes were wide with terror as he begged for help, but the people only stared at him, remembering all the pain he had caused. Kofi Mensah lay on the ground, weak and helpless. His body would not move no matter how hard he tried. The villagers gathered around him, whispering among themselves. Some felt pity, but others remembered his cruelty and shook their heads. An old woman, Mama Ama, stepped forward. She was the same woman whose bananas Kofi had stolen. Though he had hurt her, her heart was kind. She bent down and said, "Kofi, the gods have punished you for your wickedness. But no one should suffer like this. Will you change if we help you?" Kofi, filled with fear, nodded weakly. "I will change. Please help me," he begged. Mama Ama turned to the villagers. "If we leave him like this, we are no better than he was. Let us take him to the medicine man. Maybe there is a way to break this curse." The villagers agreed. They carried Kofi to Nana Kwaku, the wise old medicine man who lived at the edge of the village. Nana Kwaku listened to the story and then examined Kofi carefully. "This is the work of the spirits," Nana Kwaku said. "They have taken his strength because he misused it. To break the curse, Kofi must prove he has truly changed." "How?" Kofi asked, his voice trembling. "You must do 3 good deeds. One for the village, one for someone you have wronged, and one in secret with no reward," Nana Kwaku said. "Only then will the curse be lifted." Kofi swallowed hard. He had spent his whole life taking, not giving. Could he really do good now? The villagers carried him back to his hut and left him there to think. That night, Kofi lay awake, staring at the roof. For days, Kofi lay in his hut, thinking hard about how he could do good deeds when he could barely move. Then, one morning, he heard children laughing outside. Peeking through his door, he saw 3 village boys playing near a big hole in the path, a hole he had dug weeks ago to trap animals, but now it was dangerous. With great effort, Kofi used his weak arms to drag himself outside. His voice was hoarse, but he called out, "Children, stop! There's a deep hole there." The boys froze just in time, their eyes wide. One of them, Kwame, ran to tell the villagers. Soon, people came and filled the hole, thanking Kofi for his warning. "That was my first good deed," Kofi whispered to himself, feeling a tiny warmth in his chest. Next, he thought of Mama Ama, the banana seller. Though he couldn't walk, he asked Kwame to bring her to him. When she came, Kofi bowed his head in shame. "Mama Ama, I stole from you. I have no money, but if I ever recover, I will work to repay you double." Mama Ama smiled gently. "Your words are a start, Kofi. That is your second good deed, admitting you're wrong." Now, Kofi needed to do one more good deed, in secret. But how? Then, Late that night, he heard rustling outside. A thief was creeping toward Mama Ama's hut. Kofi's heart pounded. He couldn't fight, but he could make noise. With all his strength, he banged his metal cup against the wall. Clang! Clang! The noise woke the village, and the thief ran away. No one knew it was Kofi who had warned them, just as Nana Kwaku had asked. The next morning, Kofi woke to a strange tingling in his fingers. Slowly, he wiggled them. Then, his toes. The curse was lifting. But before he could celebrate, Nana Kwaku appeared at his door, his face serious. Kofi, you have begun to change, but your journey is not over. The spirits are watching. One last test remains. Kofi sat up slowly, his limbs still weak but growing stronger. What final test, Nana Kwaku? He asked, his voice trembling. The old medicine man leaned on his walking stick and pointed toward the dark forest at the edge of the village. Deep in those woods, there is a sacred baobab tree. At its roots lies a golden amulet that belongs to the village spirit. Many years ago, a greedy man stole it, and since then, bad luck has followed our village. You must return it. Kofi's mouth went dry. The forest was dangerous, filled with wild animals and strange sounds at night. Worse still, the amulet was guarded by Adze, a tricky spirit that took the form of a firefly. Many who had searched for it never returned. But how can I go there in my condition? Kofi asked, looking at his still weak legs. Nana Kwaku placed a small wooden doll in Kofi's hands. This will give you strength for one day, but beware, if your heart is not truly changed, the forest will know. As Kofi gripped the doll, warmth spread through his body. He stood up, amazed at his returning strength. Taking a deep breath, he limped toward the forest as the villagers watched in silence. The moment Kofi stepped under the tall trees, the sunlight disappeared. Strange whispers swirled around him as he pushed through thick vines. After hours of searching, he spotted a golden glow between the roots of the ancient baobab tree. His heart leaped. The amulet! But just as he reached for it, hundreds of fireflies surrounded him, their lights blinding. A voice like crackling leaves spoke. "Thief! You who have stolen all your life, now come to steal again." Kofi fell to his knees. "No! I mean to return what was taken." The fireflies swirled faster. "Prove it!" the voice demanded. "What will you give in return?" Kofi thought hard. He had nothing of value, except one thing. "My strength!" he cried. "If I fail, let the curse return forever!" The forest fell silent. Then the fireflies parted, revealing the amulet. As Kofi picked it up, the doll in his pocket crumbled to dust. He knew his borrowed strength would soon fade. Moot stumbling and exhausted, Kofi barely made it back to the village before collapsing at Nana Kwaku's feet. He held up the amulet as the villagers gasped. But the medicine man's face was grave. "The test is not complete. Now you must—" Nana Kwaku took the golden amulet and raised it high for all to see. The villagers gasped as it began to glow with a soft, warm light. "The test is not complete," Nana Kwaku said, turning to Kofi. "Now you must return this to its rightful place, the village shrine, and ask forgiveness before the elders and the spirits." Though exhausted, Kofi nodded. With the last of his strength, he crawled to the village shrine, where the elders had gathered. The people watched in silence as he placed the amulet at the base of the sacred stone. "I have been a wicked man," Kofi said, his voice shaking. "I stole, I lied, and I hurt many. But I have learned that kindness is stronger than cruelty. I ask for your forgiveness." For a long moment, no one spoke. Then Mama Ama stepped forward and placed her hand on Kofi's shoulder. "We forgive you," she said. One by one, the other villagers nodded in agreement. Suddenly, a warm breeze swept through the shrine, and Kofi felt strength returning to his body. The curse was broken. He stood up, tears in his eyes, and hugged Mama Ama tightly. From that day on, Kofi Mensah was a changed man. He helped the villagers farm, shared his food with the poor, and became known as Kofi the Kind. The village prospered, and whenever someone acted selfishly, the elders would tell the story of the wicked man who learned to be good. Moral lesson: no matter how badly you have behaved, it is never too late to change. True strength comes from kindness, and forgiveness can heal even the hardest hearts.